Thank you,
They,
Zoom.
they could be lucky. They're like lucky.
Maybe so.
Hello, Professor Stern.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the new school year and welcome to the Music and Technology Seminar at Carnegie Mellon. My name is Ricardo and I'm the organizer for the seminar class, which is required for music and technology majors at Carnegie Mellon and often attended by interesting faculty from computer science, engineering, music, and psychology. Other CMU faculty and students are welcome, as well as prospective students, former students, and other interested and inquisitive people. Today is for rules and regulations and introductions. For anyone enrolled in the course, attendance is mandatory. If you have a schedule conflict, you can view the session, which is posted on Canvas and our own YouTube page. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, good.
No.
Then send me a summary of the seminar and get credit for attending. If you miss more than 2 seminars in a semester, you don't get credit for the class. If you are not a music and technology major, but would still like to get credit for the course, let me know and we can get you enrolled. So let's get started with introductions. I will introduce our faculty members first, and then a few students that I happen to know had interesting projects over the summer and would like to share a quick summary of their experiences. I will then ask for any other student or any other person with an interesting story to tell, raise their hand on the Zoom screen or here in the room, and let us know what you would like us to hear. So the order I would like to start with is Roger Dannenberg, Tom Sullivan, Rich Stern, and Lori Heller. So Roger, welcome back. It's good to see you and tell us what you've been up to.
All right. Hi, everyone. I guess there are new people here. So I'm Roger Dannenberg. I'm a emeritus professor of computer science. Emeritus means, among other things, that I'm no longer teaching classes. So I'm mostly working at home, and I'm still advising some music and technology students. I've got a PhD in computer science. It's finishing up a really interesting doctoral thesis on voice synthesis using deep learning. What else? I work on, I'm one of the co-creators of Audacity, the audio editor. So that's probably for most people, the thing that would be connected with my name. But I've also been doing research in computer music for decades now, and that was my it's still my primary research area at CMU. In addition to some work with students doing machine learning, I've been working on a communication system that's especially for building music systems. It's called O2, and I've been working on a new software synthesis framework called ARCO. I'm working with some students outside of CMU right now on a system called the Global Drum Circle that we hope to enable people to perform in drum circles over the web around the world. And what else? I work with on a system called SoundCool, which is a modular software synthesis system. And we've been doing a lot of network performances and audio visual creations. And I'm also a composer. So recently had a performance in Spain of chamber opera, and we're gearing up for more performances using a computer accompaniment system I've been developing. And what have I done this summer? Maybe the most interesting thing was a workshop seminar on music information retrieval and music research in Germany, where unfortunately I got COVID. So I've spent the last month recuperating and still working on getting my full voice back, but I think I should stop there and move on to Tom, right?
Okay, Tom, you're on.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tom Sullivan. I'm a teaching professor in electrical and computer engineering. Actually, Ricardo and I were the ones that tried to start this program back in the 1990s, and finally got Roger and Rich Stern on board and got it going in around 08 or 09. And it's been going since. So, thanks to everyone that contributed, or you guys wouldn't be here today. So it's nice to have you all here. I know there's some new faces, people I haven't met. So I certainly would love to meet all of you at any time. If anyone wants to reach out and come and have a visit sometime, that would be great. I can meet up with you somewhere. Maybe we can get a big lunch together or something, and I can meet more people than just my graduate students that have been working with me. I teach primarily, my interest areas are signal processing and some circuits stuff. So I teach courses in those veins. This semester I'm teaching our core course in signals and systems, which I do just about every semester. I'm also teaching a course in electroacoustics this semester, and I'm also working on an energy systems, intro to power and energy systems course this semester too, that I'm teaching. And then in the spring, I always teach our senior capstone design course as well in the department. So those have been my primary teaching things over the last couple of years. I was teaching the computer music course with Tom Cortina in CS, but now that we have Chris Donahue on board, which is great, he and Tom are now have taken that course over and are teaching it. And Roger started that course when he was a faculty member a number of years ago. I guess that course actually started, right? I don't know when it actually came on board. So anyway, I love synthesis. I'm a guitar player. I don't get to play music as much as Roger does, unfortunately. I should probably make myself do that more, but I also have 5 kids, and so it's been a long run dealing with my home life a lot and not having a lot of time to do hobbies. But the house is emptying out, so hopefully I'll be back to that a little bit more in the future too. I'd love to hear more music output from our students too. We have everyone doing all this technology stuff, but I know everyone came to this because they love music as much as we do. And so I think it'd be great to have some collaborations and some actual music coming out of things as well. So I certainly encourage everyone to get involved with each other and, let us know what's going on. It'd be great to have a little more of that.
Thank you.
Okay. First of all, can you hear me far away?
I can.
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Rich Stern, and I have the distinction of having been at CMU longer than anybody else on the call. I'm not sure if there's any prize for that, but it's a fact. When I came here in 1977, I was, my original work was in auditory perception. Actually, I looked like Lori Hetler in those days. We both did work in binaural hearing. Prior to that, I had done various musical things. I played keyboards in a rock band that recorded an album for Capitol Records when I was 20 years old. The producer died, and nothing came of it. But and I backed up folk singers in coffee houses in Boston when I was a junior in college. And then I decided to put that down so I could get into grad school, which actually removed. Since I've been here, as I said, my original research work was in auditory perception. I still get into arguments occasionally over theories of binaural hearing, and remain interested in many other things. From about the early 80s until now, I shifted focus to computer speech recognition. I led a group for many years that attempted to improve speech recognition accuracy in difficult acoustic environments by being clever about signal processing. And then sometime, I don't know, between 5 and 15 years ago, depending on how you count, all of the things that I was really well known for. And in fact, one of my favorite theses was Tom's on microphone wave processing back in what was mid-90s, was it? But the things that I did for really 30, 35 years kind of became usurped by techniques based on deep learning. And in fact, once the neural networks got off the ground, you could do about just as well by plugging in some fairly generic DNN and getting performance that was incomparable to the kinds of things I would get by trying to be very clever. So I've been scrambling around trying to think of what my next act might be in research. In music and technology, I've supervised a number of theses, perhaps not as many as Roger and Tom, but let's see. Most of them have been in the area of different flavors of music information retrieval. And I've also maintained an active interest in score following. This was, of course, a field that Roger co-invented many, many years ago, but I still really try to dabble in quite a bit. On the musical side, I, like many kids in suburban America, I had piano lessons, and they proved to be useful in later life. In graduate school, I started playing harpsichord fairly seriously. Wasn't distracted enough by my studies, and have had the good fortune to perform fairly regularly, both with people in the early music community, some of the best players of modern instruments, actually, that more so in early years than now. In fact, I first encountered Ricardo back in the 1970s when he was recording concerts that I was playing in, mostly at Pitt. In fact, I'd like to say that I knew Ricardo before he was Ricardo, and that's a music fact. I continue to play from time to time. I'm trying to organize a recital with a friend of Duquesne, Paul Miller, who plays viola, baroque viola, baroque violin, viola d'amore. We did recital 12/21. It takes a while to get stuff together. We're shooting for something this fall, and probably in Kresge, but I'm not confident that'll happen. If not, maybe in the spring. And I'm also starting to organize recitals in Buenos Aires in Argentina, where my daughter lives. She's a harpist in the opera orchestra at Teatro Colón. And I think it's more than time to turn the floor over to Lori.
Thanks, Rich. Just for the record, yes, we did intersect with working on binaural hearing, but it was not in 1977 when I was in elementary school. Just saying. Okay. So hi, everyone. I'm a teaching professor in the Department of Psychology. I have been at CMU for 15 years now. And I've recently begun some collaborations with a couple of people that spoke at the Music and Technology Seminar last year. I'm starting a collaboration with Chris Donahue on sound morphing, and then I'm doing a collaboration this summer, collecting data on using the wavefield synthesis system that Daniel Rosenberg has in the School of Design, and I found out about it by going to this seminar and heard him talk, and we started that collaboration. And so I've also co-supervised a bunch of, or I wouldn't say a bunch, a couple of music and technology students. I don't do research on music. I do research on environmental sound perception, but I do teach a class called Introduction to Music Cognition Research, and it has both grad and undergrad students in it, and a couple of students on this program. And so we take people all the way from ground zero to developing an original research idea, and they complete a a study and present it by the end of the semester. So that's a lot of fun. I teach that every couple of years. And I also teach an auditory perception class. That's a whole semester where we do a little bit of signal processing, light, but mostly just auditory perception and some acoustics in there. So you might want to know about that. So my research today at the European Conference on Signal Processing, a paper was presented that I'm senior author on how to detect deepfake environmental sounds. So there's a neural network that does it using embeddings. And then also I contributed human data, looking at the sounds that the neural network got wrong and seeing if humans could do better, and what cues they were using to find fakes. So that was fun. That was just a little project. And yesterday, at a different conference, also in France called Internoise, there was a paper that I'm on, looking at the effects of noise for school children, traffic noise, and its effects on them, annoyance and so on. So I kind of do a lot of things, but the binding factor is always like sounds in your environment and how you hear them. The one this summer was related to spatial hearing, and how that interacts with what you hear and what you see, and then with your own like body motion, naturalistic motion that's allowed in the wave-field synthesis. Whether some of that motion that you can do might break apart certain visual and auditory illusions that are well known. So that was what we were asking there. I've also in the last year developed a virtual reality experience in which you get to play a game as embodying an animal. You can embody a dolphin or an eagle, and then you learn about the challenges that the animal faces from climate change through different challenges that happen in the game. And I'm looking to extend that into some research and outreach. And I don't know, that's probably, I could go on and on, I guess, but as far as music, not doing a lot specifically in there. I've done a little bit also with sound pleasantness, and that might be an area that people might find interesting. Like why people find certain sounds unpleasant, and whether that interacts with a hearing impairment or cochlear implants. Okay, that's everything from me.
So Lori, I'm curious to know, have you done anything with the MRI thing of looking at people's brains who are thinking or doing music?
For doing music, no. No, I've done MRI with people listening to sounds and figuring out what made the sounds, like tapping and scraping and rolling and bouncing and things like that. But no music with MRI. I think I think Richard Randall did something with MEG, at least with music melodies.
Okay.
MRI is expensive.
Oh. Okay, so thank you all very much. Now, let's say Preston, you had an interesting project over the summer.
I did have an interesting project over the summer. I spent a couple months in China, and there I just did a bit of a survey of the music technology in China, how things are different, how they're not so different, what kind of instruments you'll see around, what kind of brands you'll see around, and I'll be hoping to share more about that in the coming weeks, either next week or the week after. Yeah.
You want to pull the microphone thing out a little bit further? And Felix, how about you?
So yeah, my name is Felix and I'm senior studying music and technology. Up until this summer, I worked at this mattress company. It sounds really weird, but it's a smart mattress called, the company is called Bright, and they have air palms in their mattress, and I worked on this feature called Somnify, which links music to the movement of the bed. And we're doing some research to see if that helps the customer fall asleep or not. Having this in sync motion with the inflation and deflation of each air pressure zone, and in sync to the rhythm of the music. And then the company went over. But they're back on their feet again. And in the summer, I participated in an internship program at Harvard. It's this lab called Harvard Cam Lab. It's a multimedia experience lab that is underneath the Faculty of Arts and Science. It is a multimedia lab focusing on East Asian arts and also East Asian religious arts, as well as history. And we brought that kind of old arts and history into new technology using more immersive technology, multisensory things to make cool it's kind of experiences. And in the summer, I worked on a few projects with them. One is called Shadow Dance, which I'm not sure if you guys know, there's this cave. There's this kind of like historic site in China called Dunhuang, and it has many caves, and there are cave paintings from many centuries ago. And we kind of use machine learning to take some of the motions that depicted in the cave painting and made a dance out of it. And also worked on the VR game as part of this immersive classroom project they have going on that explored one of the oldest Buddhist pagoda in China that's no longer, people can no longer go in there because it's too fragile, but we recreated the experience in VR. And we also worked on a documentary about a few art historians. One of them is a Chinese architect, Liang Sicheng, and his time in the US.
That was your relaxing summer.
Hey, Ricardo.
Yeah.
So two things. First of all, I just want to let the students know, Rich Stern left one thing out of his little background, and the students will find this exciting probably. Rich Stern was actually at Woodstock. So you should all know that. But also, Ricardo, you didn't introduce yourself and what you do.
Oh yeah.
That can come later. Let's get everyone.
All right. So hi, my name is Adi. I'm a sophomore in music and technology. As for my summer, I did a couple of things. I took 18-13, which is Introduction to Computer Systems. And I was a teaching assistant for 15-122, the Imperative Computation course. But that's kind of the boring stuff. What I was actually doing in the background was I was working with a startup called MyGenie. They're working on this app where you get to talk to AI avatars in the form of like video conversations. So if you're doing like a FaceTime kind of call with like a genie that you can create. And you can create genies of like your friends. You give them like a training video of your friend, and it creates like an avatar that like looks and sounds like that person. So I was a full stack engineer. I was working on both the app, the server, and the web communication of streaming audio and video from the app to the server, and doing various kinds of signal processing things like voice activity detection on the server side. And there's a lot of low-level programming stuff with the streaming, things like upsampling, downsampling, and then pipeline that into the AI model to get it to generate the video and audio in response to that, and kind of doing the pipelining of all of that. So that was my journey, and I'm still involved with them part-time, so I'm still doing that.
I also want to point out that the three in the front here, Felix, Adi, and Preston, are TAs for my classes and also kind of TAs for this one as well. And I totally appreciate their work in that area. Yeah. Okay, who else? So, Carlos, I know, Marco,
Yeah.
I know that you have sponsored some concerts this summer, and another one's coming up on Saturday.
That's true.
So tell us about that.
During the pandemic, there was like, all the concert halls and stuff were shut down. And so for students, local students were like, we want to give them a reason to practice. So we started just like, like kids concerts, like some like neighbors came by. We had like 4 or 5 people who were just like there clapping for the student. And then that turned into like an actual full concert series with professional local musicians. So we've had a jazz group come in, Lily Abreu and Eric DeFade, jazz band. We have Cello Fury, who actually came out of CMU like 15 years ago, I think. They're coming on Saturday. We've had all sorts of other like classical, rock, all sorts of stuff. And I actually also worked on an app that creates rhythmic dictations. I know, it's every freshman's favorite thing. Delete it. No.
Does it solve it?
Both.
Oh,
The
wow.
one that makes them.
Yeah. Right, just don't tell me.
Maybe next semester it'll be closer to a product.
So wait, it creates melodic or rhythmic dictation or
Yeah.
figures it out?
It creates it, and then it's currently being it's still in development.
Is it in Eurythmics 1 or Eurythmics 2?
Both.
Can it, well, I guess the question is, can it like tell, like, do you have to give it like a meter, or can it just like?
You can give it any complex meter.
So did you have something?
Oh, it's not as grand as I made an electric guitar.
Oh,
It looks hideous.
Wait, that probably resonates more with everybody here than anything else we've heard.
We took it was with a friend of mine. We took an old piece of like flooring. Just how all great stories start. And then we bought a neck, and then some strings, of course, and then like a pickup and some tuners. And the tuners didn't fit into like the hole. So we took some like little tape and we just taped around the tuners. And then it just fit, right? And then we drilled holes into the plank of wood, right? And then we drilled holes into the neck to like screw the thing together. And as my friend was like drilling the first couple of holes, I was looking at like the screws and I was like, that is not gonna fit. And he's like, no, I got this. And I'm like, no, just like switch the drill bit. And he said, no, it's fine. And he just wiggled the drill. Oh my God. I'm like, there's no way that's gonna work. Like, there's like 0 chance. And that's how we drilled every single hole. Anyway, so we attached the neck. We attached the pickup. I remember he was like, yeah, just could you look at like Telecaster wiring? I'm like, oh yeah, sure, I got you. And so I looked it up. He's like, yeah, could you find one where like all like the pins are like on one side? And I'm just like, I'm scrolling the pictures. I'm like, I don't think the pins are supposed to be all bent to one side. I'm pretty sure it's like this piece is just damaged. He's like, all right, it's fine. I'll just guess, right? And since we soldered the wires like onto like 2 random pins, and we got lucky. It worked first try. And then I remember like we were trying to what?
Did it work well?
Yeah, well and relevant. And then we tried to oh yeah, okay. And I remember like the wires, because they're just kind of like sticking out, right? They were muting the strings, and so we took some tape and then we taped the strings to the plank of wood, right? So that it wouldn't mute the strings. And then he tried to like it's a plank of wood. It's like a really thin. Well, you can't play it something, right? And so we took a strap, right? And then he stood up, right, to play it, and then the neck immediately fell this way. And we were just like, okay, so what do we do? And he looked at this piece of he looked at this hammer, and then we took a piece of like string, and we tied the string around the hammer. And then we hung it from the other end. To balance on the neck, right? Because the plank of wood is just too light, right? And then to finish it off, we took the solder. So to finish it off, we took the solder and we burned the words "the plank" and then our first initial and our last name.
So wait, do you have a picture?
It's really ugly.
Yeah, I know. I want to see it.
Yeah, no, I want to see it too. I cringe at the hole drilling, but that's also how a CNC machine. I made a guitar last semester. That's how the. I mean, that is how it works. But like.
Oh yes, and then we took it to church and played it for Sunday service. Everyone looked at us like we were super.
Well, I don't blame them.
It looks it looks like this.
Oh my God.
The hammer isn't there. We actually we do need the.
Okay, I think you have to show it to the camera as well.
Oh, geez. Oh, that's beautiful. That's interesting.
No.
Oh, the camera's like over there.
Oh,
I don't know. They.
I have no idea. Yeah, that's
You got it. You got it.
That's not working.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, internet people.
Okay, anyone else in
Yeah.
the room?
Me?
Yeah. I heard you had an interesting project that you got an award for.
You heard about that? Yeah, I spent a good half of my summer creating a rhythm game from scratch, which involved a lot of like syncing audio to visual stuff and parsing chart formats to make it so it lines up with the song and stuff like that. Yeah, I got the #1 project in that class. So
You're actually the second music and technology major who got the top prize in the computer science class.
I also know that for the same class, Isidore made a DAW from scratch.
He made a whole DAW?
Yeah.
He didn't tell me about that.
I saw it.
What?
Yeah, it's real.
Isidore didn't tell me about that.
Marco, didn't you make a DAW platform?
Yeah, I made a modular synthesizer platform.
Oh, yeah.
Ben also won. He made a what was it? I can't remember what kind of synthesizer it is, but it was cool.
Oh yeah, he did make a synthesizer. Yeah, that's pretty sick.
I'm gonna take credit for convincing Mike Taylor that music stuff is okay in that class.
Okay, anybody else?
During the summer, I worked at a startup actually here sponsored by CMU. It's in Pepper in Short Center. So I worked there. It's for an educational game platform, and I mainly worked on back end and also front end. But there involves some video and also audio processing because they actually created this studio in the game. Ricardo is my favorite position, and they actually, I think they actually made it 1-to-1 like this studio. So players could make like a music. No, it's more like a rap recording.
Only rap.
So do I have an avatar? Is that what you're telling me?
No, but they do have like a picture of you.
I had no idea. Anybody else?
I didn't do anything like at a company, but I did a lot of mixing and mastering of songs for my band, which we recorded 3 of here on the other side of the slides. Yeah, no, this was a different one. And we released one of the songs recently. It's called Roadkill by Next Day Delivery, and it's everywhere you listen. I'm not gonna pass up an opportunity.
Roadkill Next Day Delivery, everyone.
Anybody else?
Yo, what's up? If you don't know me, I'm Damon. But basically over the summer, I just made a lot of electronic music with my friends. I just call someone up who I know would play whatever instrument. I was like, yo, you want to get on this track? And I have made a couple of tracks, and I want to make a lot more that's just amalgamations of like every musical person that I know and that they know. And then I want to find a way to like kind of just release it in a way where everyone can like get properly credited. And I want to start building like a large network of just musical collaboration. So it's not like official work or anything, but I'm close work on getting that started this summer.
Cool. Ricardo, so I neglected to say one thing about teaching when I was talking before. This is a plug. You all should learn signal processing. Be aware, the sequence of courses in ECE, first is the Signals and Systems course that Tom is teaching right now. In the spring, there is, and you can also get that in the spring semester, but if you get it in the spring semester, then you can't take the next course, which is 18491 or 691 digital signal processing, which is taught in the spring, which I have been teaching. And I'm scheduled to teach it next spring. And the course after that is very originally entitled Advanced Signal Processing, taking 792. But there's I think everybody should take at least the DSP course. And there's a lot of cool stuff that goes on in the ADSP course. And anybody curious at all,
when you see me at the class.
I will be there next spring.
Great.
Should make a new class and call it super.
What was it in Animal House, double secret for that?
Is advanced DSP only fall, right?
It's only fall and you have to have the previous one previously.
All right, anybody else? Okay, so I guess I should say something about myself. I'm basically a recording engineer. That's what I think of myself as. I do have a master's degree in mathematics and another one in historical musicology.
And you're a good pianist.
I used to play the piano, but I don't really anymore. I've been recording Pittsburgh opera productions for 36 years, I think. So I have recorded over 600 operas. I know my opera. I've also recorded, I think it's edging up now to around 150 to 200 CDs that are out there on all different kinds of labels. I've enjoyed working with composers, with musicians, and in all kinds of music, including hip hop, jazz, rock, and I guess mostly classical music. I like to apply classical music recording techniques to every other genre that there is. Many of my recordings were recorded with only 2 microphones. The first CD I made was actually named one of the 10 best chamber music CDs by the New York Times. It was Quarteto Latinoamericano, and that is still one of my favorite CDs. The next one was even better, but the New York Times didn't say anything about that one. Any questions for me or anyone else have anything to say?
Let's say something about the sequence of courses here.
Well, here, sound recording is the first course that I teach, and that's the gateway to the other courses in the studio. The other courses can be taken in any order, and they would be editing and mastering and multi-track recording. Editing and mastering is the course where you have to spend a lot of time alone in the editing suites doing your work. And multi-track recording is the one where I sit in the back of the room and you guys do all the work. Many people in this room have already been the beneficiaries of the multi-track recording class, because this is when we have bands or other groups come in to record stuff, and the class does that. I know you've done that, and I think many other people. And Marco is next on the list, I think, to bring a group in and do some jazz, right? Or even classical music. I think you're ready for that as well. Yeah. So we do have a Steinway B piano in here that is almost always in tune. And so that's basically my life, is just recording stuff.
My name's Sam. Most of you probably don't know me, but this summer I worked at this like DIY recording place. I don't know if I should say the name because it has a curse word, but FU DIY. That's the fan. They're out in New York. We just recorded a bunch of bands. I did a lot of the engineering for them, and I did some mixing, but I was just busy with other stuff. I'm also in a band with you guys, and we're based in Pittsburgh. We're playing a show next week, I think. The third.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm also TA for the card. So.
Same as my other TA.
If I could say real quick, if any of you guys have any interest in joining a band or trying to book shows in the local scene or anything like that, reach out to us. Look on Tartan Connect, look for the club Independent Musicians Organization. They have a room underneath Forward. There's like a drum kit, there's amps, there's vocal mics, there's a keyboard. So if anyone has any interest in any of that, join IMO. You can connect with other musicians, you can start bands, and if you have enough original songs, you can come talk to us. We can try and get you booked around the scene in Pittsburgh, make a little money.
We have had many IMO bands come in and record here. Some very good stuff has come out of that. Anybody else?
I'm an exchange student to CMU from Japan, and I spent 1 year back in Japan, but in Japan, my home university, there was a professor who did research in information, like music information retrieval, but he was going to his company and he left the university, so I couldn't do it anymore. And I was in the lab, like of the regular like computer science research team, and I was like kind of fighting alone, but now I'm here and I have like people with many similar issues. So like through the year, I would like to do like more than just taking courses. So yeah, through the year I would like to work with you and maybe do some like projects or research.
So you're doing a junior year abroad here, right?
This is actually my second year.
Okay.
But like I have still a lot to learn. So yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, I think we can end our seminar for today, so we can stop recording. Thank you all for being here. Wait, I do want to say one more thing. So the last time I introduced Roger Dannenberg, I made a mistake and he corrected me. I said that his Audacity program had been downloaded millions of times. And he corrected me and said, no, that's wrong. It has been downloaded hundreds of millions of times. So there, we made it right.
Before you turn off the feed, does anybody have any comments or advice on the demise of Finale?
Oh, good riddance.
Keep it. So good. Steinberg or Sibelius or something else? You scored.
This is like three.
It's three.
Well, they started.
That sounds.
You're talking
Haven't they
about
started
you're
dating
talking
stuff?
about real college students. No one's paying for their music.
Yeah, it was the educational discount.
Yeah,
But free.
And-
No
Yeah.
educational discount can be free.
Didn't they start like gating some features recently behind the paywall?
Yeah. I think it's
So is Finale
buy, like,
gone?
better
It's done?
No,
It's
so
dead.
it's basically you're not able to download it or buy it anymore, and it will be completely gone August 26th of 2021.
Honestly,
And then slowly start shutting it down and down and down.
it's just
and
that.
down.
the
So
port
next
has
year you'll be
ended
able to
for-
start. You won't be able to use it anymore.
Support has ended for.
Yeah.
I can say a few things if you'd
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Roger has some more.
like to hear. So, yeah, this is really interesting to me because Finale is a subsidiary of Make Music, and Make Music, the parent company was formed to basically market the patent that I had for computer accompaniment. So a lot of people think it's the other way around, but actually computer accompaniment bought Finale and raised more money. Finale's gone through, I think their history is about 40 years now. And yeah, I don't haven't heard from any insiders, but the official announcement is that they're no longer going to maintain Finale. It should keep working for a long time. I think eventually, as people, as the Mac operating system changes, Apple has been really terrible about backwards compatibility. So they'll probably, Apple is going to break Finale with new operating system releases in time. And so, yeah, so that's the end. And I think it's, I think the current owners of Make Music have been trying to monetize the company for a long time. There was some kind of buyout deal where I think investors thought that if they stopped investing in Finale and just pocketed the profits, they could make a lot of money. And I mean, because that's how a lot of businesses work in the US now. So I kind of think they drove the company or the Finale end of the company into the ground by not really investing in it. But so Finale is recommending that people switch to Dorico And I was surprised they actually, endorsed some other companies. So I imagine that there was some financial deal to get Denali's endorsement. But I've heard a lot of great things about Dorico. I think another strong contender for the future, I mean, it's been coming up for a long time, is MuseScore, which is free. I mean, for those that might be thinking about, what do I do as a composer so that I can access my stuff for years to come? While Dorico is, as far as I know, is kind of the same business model as Finale. You just try to sell the software to users and keep going. MuseScore is free, and it's supported by their connection to licensing deals. And so they can afford to build free notation software because they need the notation software to support their content licensing business. And I think that's could be more stable and more profitable in the long run. And if there's something as good as MuseScore out there for free, I think Dorico's got a limited life ahead of it. But I could be wrong, and I do have some bias here because I've talked to a lot of insiders at Muse Group, because they're the company that acquired Audacity, and they're doing a similar thing with Audacity, connecting it to audio.com and setting up audio licensing deals. And that's intended to, I mean, so far I think they've lost a huge amount of money on Audacity, but the plan, the long range plan with all of their products basically is to make music available through licensing and very low cost licensing deals that millions of people will pay for. Their licensing is like on the order of $25 a year for access to like millions of guitar tabs, and a similar deal for a huge library of music notation, and a similar deal I imagine is coming to license audio stems and audio products and use them within Audacity. But anyway, I'm kind of betting on MuseScore because I know that they've hired, like, they're very serious about quality, and they've hired one of the world's best music engravers. So they have people that are really attending to typography and quality. And I don't think they're really competitive with Finale yet in terms of flexibility, but I think it's easier to use, and it's free, and it's got a financial model that can support them for a long time.
I know many people who say MuseScore is the best music notation software.
Well, I think it's well done, and it's simple, and it's free. So, you're going to find a lot of people that love it because that's, just like Audacity. I wouldn't try to make Audacity the foundation of my recording studio. But lots of people will swear that Audacity is the best audio editor out there. And it is good, so what can I say?
Okay, anything else? All right, thank you all for being here today, and I'll see you next week.
Thanks, Ricardo.
Wait, if you're in this room, you can stop recording now, but if you're here.